Howdy neighbors, welcome back to the channel. Silverthorn is a archetype that is near and dear to my heart. A family member, spiritual family member of mine play this archetype a whole lot, and hopefully I can inspire you guys to play this archetype too. Continuous, during your turn, if your front row is occupied, your front row gets plus 5k, and it also has an activability of discard a card and you call cards. You call as much Silverthorn units to the front row as much as possible. And then at the end of turn, if you have 4 more rear guards, you put all of them into soul and you create a imaginary gift XL. This archetype focuses a lot more around XL too, since you do want to draw into a lot more of your pieces. This is a combo, a aggro combo deck in comparison to what Harry can play as like a tempo control deck a little bit. Then we have OG Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Lukier, Counterblast 2, discard a card, call any number of Silverthorn units from your soul to rearguard circle, and all of your front row rear guards get plus 3k. And then it also has the added ability of continuous during your turn. If you called 2 more cards from your soul, it gets plus 10k. And then we have Silverthorn Beast Tamer Dorian. Sadly enough, she is limited to 1. At the end of your turn, put all of your other rear guards and draw a card for every 2 cards put into your soul for this cost. And if you put 4 more cards, if return a grade 3 card with Silverthorn in its name from your soul to your hand, and if this is on rearguard circle, and retire. There's a cool little interaction I'll teach you guys about this that a lot of people might not know about at the end of the combo section of the video. For our grade 2 lineup, we run Silverthorn Rising Dragon. This is one of the D series new additions that we're running in this archetype. As a retrain, its ability is when it's placed on rearguard, put a card from your hand into your soul and draw a card. Its other ability, during your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Lukier in its card name, and 2 more of your units were placed from your soul on rearguard circle this turn, this gets plus 10k. If 4 more were placed, it gets an additional 10k. As a combo extender, we run Silverthorn Diva Sylvina on place from hand or from soul to rearguard circle. Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 cards with Silverthorn in their card names not named her from your soul, come to rearguard circle. Silverthorn Marionette Lillian, auto rearguard circle, Vanguard circle, when placed from hand, search your deck up through 1 card with Silverthorn and its card name, put it into your soul, shuffle your deck. When it attacks a Vanguard, if your soul has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn with different names, this unit gets plus 10k until end of battle. This is a rearguard ability. That was it for grade 2s. Now for our grade 1s, Silverthorn Breathing Dragon. This is the D series retrain that we have gotten. We are running 3 of them in total, 1 V series and 2 D series. It has the ability, if it's called, when its card is placed on back row from soul, if you have a Vanguard with Lukier in its card name, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Vanguard and it gets continuous. All of your front row rear guards gets plus 5k until end of turn. You need to be very careful when you use this card because it gives the current Vanguard, it doesn't give you the skill. Silverthorn Beast Tamer Anna, when this is ruled upon by a unit with Silverthorn in its name, which is every unit, counter charge 1. When its unit is placed on R from soul by the ability of your Vanguard with Silverthorn in its name. If you did not countercharge this turn, put this unit and one of your other rear guards with Silverthorn in its name into your soul and countercharge 1. Silverthorn Assistant Irina, when placed from hand, look at the top 2 cards on the top of your deck, put 1 from among them into your soul and put the other card to the bottom of your deck. When ruled upon, look at the top 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose any number of Silverthorn in their names and put them into your soul, and if you put 2 or more cards into your soul, you draw a card. And the V Silverthorn Breathing Dragon is at a battle that this unit is boosted. If your soul has 4 more cards with Silverthorn in the name, put 1 rearguard with Silverthorn in its name that this unit boosted into soul and call a card with Silverthorn in its name to rearguard circle from soul. As you noticed, Silverthorn Assistant Zalma, choose one of your other Silverthorn units, put into soul, choose another unit not named Zelma and call it to rearguard circle. Then our V starter as our last normal unit. For our over trigger, we are running the Dark States over trigger, plus 10k and extra critical for the rest of the game. Heal Guardians, critical trigger that goes into soul, exotic jerker. Strike, crit, convert bunny. We want to try as much as possible not to discard too many of our grade 3s. For our sentinels, we run 3 draw triggers, then 2 other Silverthorn crit triggers. Silverthorn Assistant Dixie, put a student to the top of your deck. If you have a Vanguard with Lukier in its name, choose up to 1 card with Silverthorn in its name from your soul and call it to Vanguard circle and shuffle your deck. Then for our last Sentinel, Elementaria Sanctitude. Off to our G-Zone. For our G-Zone, Harmonix Messiah. At this point I think it's a staple. Train Shot, Megatrick, Leotina. When this unit attacks, come last one, discard a card from your hand, put all of your Vanguards into your soul, and then for each put into your soul, choose up to 2 cards from your soul, call them to Vanguard circle, and if you call 4 or more with different grids, until the end of the turn, when your opponent will call cards from their hand to Guardian circle, they must call 2 or more cards. And especially since we do have a decent amount of multi-attack in its Archetype, having your opponent to guard against everything is very annoying for them to deal with. Mid-Air Megatrek Yvette. Magia, which is an ability that if the unit was called out of soul, end of turn it goes back into soul. When it attacks, put a card from your hand into your soul, turn a card from your G-Zone face up, and you get an imaginary gift Excel. Call a card from your soul to an additional Vanguard circle, and this unit gets plus 15k until end of turn. At the end of that turn, put that call card called by this ability into your soul. Fancy Megatrick Dark Lord Princess. At the end of the turn, this Vanguard attacked, turn a card in your G-Zone face up, then you stride a face up card with Magia ability face up in your G-Zone, and it gets drive -2 until end of turn, and you call this card to Vanguard circle. A card that is not mandatory to run, but we run it as a way to close out the game if we need to, is Zavos Dragon of the End of World Dust. Its ability of dealing your opponent the damage and reducing their powers and turning their effects off is very handy, and you also reduce their grade to 1, so they can't G-Guard during that turn. Parallel Megatrick Fairfield, with its GB3 ability of being able to return a card from your soul, a card from Rearguard, and a card from Drop Zone back into your deck, and you also get to call a card from your soul, giving you a way to possibly refund some of your triggers. Dragon Masquerade Harry is a way of being able to clear out your opponent's board, especially playing into a card like Honolly. Forcing them to soul charge it is very handy. Choose one of your Vanguards, put it into your soul. When this unit attacks, you pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 3 cards from your soul, call them to separate Vanguard circles. If you have 5 or more Vanguards, your opponent choose 2 or Vanguards and put them to soul. At the end of the turn, put the cards with this effect into soul. Masquerade Master Harry, with its ability of Con Blast 1, choose a face down card in your G-Zone and turn it face up, and then you choose 2 cards on your circles and put them into your soul. When this unit attacks, you pay the cost. If you do, call them to separate Vanguard circles until the end of the turn, and at the end of turn you put them back into soul. And then it also has a continuous Vanguard skill of all of your Vanguards with the Magia ability gets 3k power for every Magia, for every copy of Masquerade Mask Harry, but you don't really bother with that last effect. For G-Guards, we have Demonic Beast Flexion. For G-Guards, we have Jester, Demonic Beast Flexion Chimera. Put 2 cards from your hand into 2 or more cards from your hand into soul. If you have put 2 or more cards from your hand into soul, your opponent chooses one of their standing Rearguards. And then for every card that you put into soul, you get 10k shield. Jester, Demonic Dragon, Wandering Dragon, skill, soul charge 1, you choose a card from out of your soul and you put into Guardian circle. So if you end up soul charging randomly a Hades Hypnotist and you possibly can't use Sentinels from hand and you can still G-Guard, you can then G-Guard PG from out of your soul to protect yourself. Chainsaw Megatrick Furnival, its ability to look at the top 3 of your deck and you choose a card to put in your soul. If you choose a grade 1 or greater, you get plus 5k shield. Kinesis Megatrick Coulthard, GB1 ability, choose a face down G Guardian from your G-Zone and turn it face up to pay the cost. When this is placed on Guardian Circle, if there are 4 more cards with different grades in your soul, you get plus 15k shield. Off to the combo section of the deck. But first, the mulligans. Cards to keep in this deck are going to be Silverthorn Assistant Irina, any copies of Silverthorn Marionette Lillian, or Silverthorn Rising Dragon, and of course, Silverthorn Dragon Empress Venus Lucia as our primary right target. Now off to the combo section of this video. This deck is I would say it's a pretty complicated deck since it's all dependent on how much damage you have, what damage your opponent is on, or whether or not they happen to have a Honley up, or any other way to stop half of this combo, or most of it at least. But we'll do a bare minimum attack combo where we have at least 3 to 4, 5 extra cards, because writing, of course, resolving some of your skills, and if you resolve a couple copies of Silverthorn Rising Dragon, you'll be able to get some soul naturally, without having to force yourself to soul charge randomly. So as follows, let's leave Lily in here and Rising Dragon. Alright, so here we go. We attack with Darklord Princess, since that's the stride we'll be going into right now. We have our triple drive. We hit a crit, which is kind of cute. Power here. Second check and third check. OT, that doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter though. let's pretend that that didn't happen or existed. Then we have the skill of Darklord Princess. We will destride here, call to rearguard circle. We did flip up another card in our G zone. We will go with either a Yvette for an extra Axel marker, or we can go with a Masquerade Master Harry. We'll go with just that. Here we go. We call that from the G zone, since that was what we flip face up at Darklord Princess. Then this is get calls for rearguard circle. We attack with this. We attack with this. Then we attack with here. We put these two into soul, but because a G zone unit cannot exist in your soul, it returns itself to G zone, paying the cost of Counterblast 1. We will then call 3 rearguards. Doesn't really matter what we really call out of our soul, but we'll call it for prosperity's sake to draw some cards maybe. And we have Zelma here. Then we have the skill of all of these resolving. We choose the order that we want it to. We use the skill and we send this Silverthorn Breathing Dragon and a soul. Then we get to draw a card. And then we have Zelma here. We could choose to put a Dorian back in, because then we can do something else with it. We can call Sylvia here, which gives us another Counterblast 1. There we go. We got another soul here. We get drive check, just 1. Cool. This gets a bunch of power from the multiple calls that we did. We swing here for a 16. Which doesn't matter much here. This puts itself into soul. We call back. We can call a Lucia here, which gets an additional plus power. And then we still got our 100 million over here, plus the critical that we resolved. If we wanted to play it a little bit more safe, we can keep the Dorian and not resolve it. And not resolve the additional Zelma skill and maybe bounce something else into the soul or reposition the Zelma somewhere else. But then since this was called off of Masquerade Mask Harry, this would go to soul first, but its auto ability still triggers since it's still in Magia. Since its auto ability still triggers, and we have 4 that goes to soul. We draw 2 cards. And then we choose a grade 3 from our soul to re-add to our hand, which would then be the Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Lucia that we can use for Stride Fodder or a rewrite target for another Axel marker. Again, this is all very dependent on what our opponent damage is on, what we're on. This is a very do-it-yourself type of board to figure out what's best for you. I'm just only be able to show you the bare minimum. And there we have it, Silverthorn. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the profile. The deck can do a lot more cool attack patterns than this. Kind of want you guys to figure it out yourself. But be awesome, stay awesome, have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in, stopping on by. If you do like our content and want to see more of it, be sure to subscribe. Till next time.